I don't understand what any of that is. That postmodern filth. That's just I I don't know who that's for.
Let's look at some of the things that have happened after this very interesting. I mean, just leave it to the French, right? Just-
I mean, when you need to run away from, when you need to go somewhere for, just they're like a sanctuary country for people who do explicit things to, yeah, and like they have a no extradition policy. They're very lax on all of the things. They're very loose. They're loose in every
every way
sense
you
of the
think of.
term loose in France. It's kind of gross.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
no, I was in high school, and this was back in 2001. We had a school trip out to Europe, and on the train going from London to France. Once we crossed the border, imagine a bunch of high schoolers watching the movie Chocolat. Uh, yeah, it was very interesting to say the least. But I mean that's been their culture as long as I've been alive. So I mean, who would have thought it'd be any different? But anyways, this is from Cat Canada. If you guys don't know who she is, she makes some great content. She also helps out with anyone that's starting like a podcast or anything like that. She's good with working credentials and getting your name out there. Just wanted to say. So, but anyways, this is from I think a couple of hours ago, where all of Paris.
Completely blot out their horrifying opening ceremonies. They lost their power. It's back on by now, but this is
Yeah, I
from
think it
earlier.
is, which I thought
Uh,
was pretty interesting. But just,
somebody wanted to pull the plug. They said, "Pull the plug on it." Not that one. No,
the other
the
plug.
other plug.
Yeah, but so the only thing I got to say is there was one particular scene that I think that pissed off about a quarter of the planet.
Even some Muslims got upset about
Yeah,
it.
they really did. And the Muslims started calling out the Christians like, y'all gonna let them do this?
Like, yeah, dude.
Like that's crazy. Um but here's my take on this. I don't even think it had anything to do with the people there. I think that the media apparatus is trying. They're running out of ideas. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
they need that controversy. They need that. They need to rattle the cage. So they post and do things like this in order to create that controversy. So then they can say, "Hey, see, we still do news. We are news. Yes, we are." But I mean, we all know from at least the last 5-10 years that it's the beginning of the end of them. So what are your thoughts?
Right. Well, yeah. The running out of ideas is evident in previous years. When I remember as a kid watching Olympics, and the a lot of the opening ceremonies. The Olympics is about countries that in old days, ancient days, wars would stop, arms would be laid down. You
Hmm.
send your champions to a different kind of a battlefield where it's performing feats of strength and might and it was a grand thing. And so, and the ceremonies generally included things where performers from different countries came. They brought their traditional art and performance to these things, to these shows and whatnot, not just their skills and their might in the competition.
Hmm.
But what we see here is none of that. I don't understand what any of that is. That postmodern filth. That's just I I don't know who that's for. I didn't enjoy it. A lot of people got upset, and it just shows like the deification of their own smelling of their backsides. Like they don't think that their garbage stinks. They don't think their backside stink when it comes to this stuff. Like you got this weird looking kind of a Last Supper thing, I guess. It's not like they had exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but with the chick in the middle with the halo thing behind her, deified, that's an iconic thing throughout art in
Throughout history.
history of how they, anything that was Catholic, not just Catholics, it was kind of a Roman thing too, or like any other gods and deities. That halo represents a deification of sorts, and it was cringe and it was bad. And there was like a giant Grim Reaper thing, like these children with in like hospital beds, and I was just like, in what upside down version of Tim Burton's version? Like, it's like if Tim Burton got went and hung out with like Quentin Tarantino and dropped acid and said, let's remake Mary Poppins but with like plague doctors. Like something weird. I was like, what is all this? Like, I didn't get it. It was just, and I've seen Cirque du Soleil. And Cirque du Soleil is very like avant-garde, but it's cool. There's a
Yeah.
story and there's stuff that's going on and you can catch on. I didn't get any of this. I was like, this is just,
And it was what, like 10 hours long?
I
Like that's a lot of
I
like it.
and I didn't watch all of it. I watched bits
Mhm.
and pieces of things. I was like, and maybe there were things where there was, traditional whatever in
Mhm.
between, but the big stuff that came out was like, I don't get it. And of course, there to your point, I'm admitting I didn't watch all of the things. I saw clips of stuff here and there, and I've kind of lost interest in the Olympics for the most part over the years. Just like the Grammys or any of these big shows of things.
Mhm.
I'll watch certain events when the events are happening, but I don't care about their ceremonial stuff because it's a lot of it has just been convoluted over time. I'm pretty poo poo about that stuff, but whatever. This too shall pass like a kidney stone.
On until the next event,
Into the next event, like
like I can only
bring
imagine what what's going to happen in this year's Super Bowl.
yeah, bring back fine art, like bring back real art, things that you know exemplify beauty and things that are real and stuff that you can look at and go, oh, that's great. They captured something there that is a timeless truth, instead of how this postmodern garbage just mocks truth and mocks beauty, and they reject it in this world we live in now. That you can't fat shame, you can't any of that stuff. It's like you
Mhm.
can't tell somebody, hey, you need to fix your health. You don't look healthy. I care about you enough to say that you don't look healthy, and I think you need to fix that. Like, there used to be a little bit ounce of virtue in taking care of oneself. And we'll say that, oh, I want, what, you should feel good and you should all this. But when they say you should feel good and feel right and feel healthy, they really mean, oh, you shouldn't care about how you feel and how you look and all those things. It's like, well, doctors, they know what they're talking about when they say you need to fix your health, because it hurts more than just your feet when your weight's on them.
Mhm.
All of the other things go with it, but you can't talk about that stuff. Fine art's gone. Fine art's gone in this Olympics. A lot of the stuff in it is exemplary of that.
Exactly. I mean, and you see it. You already seen. Russia was making fun of that as well. I mean, I'm not going to repeat the words that they said on air, but it was a pretty brutal depiction of that. Though we take what Russia says with a grain of salt, but we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, Vashtik, you're saying the Olympic ceremony was for those who planned the ceremony to worship and have the attendants worship their fake deity. I don't know if I'll go so far as to say worship, but yeah, the people that were doing it, they made it for themselves. They
Mhm.
they they weren't thinking about it any other. I've been saying it for a long time. A lot of the writers in modern media and putting out books or comics or movies, they were the 14-year-old kids when Rome and I were kids that were writing really bad, cringy fanfic, and they
Mhm.
never got out of that cringe mode, and and then they grew up and they got hired. It's like, quit hiring these people that write cringe. Stop it.